Hi everybody, welcome to session 3. I'm so happy you're here. I can't even believe we're over halfway done. Did I say already that I'm really happy you're here? I am really happy you're here. I care about you a lot, and I miss you all very much. And you know what else? I care about myself too. Do you care about yourself? I hope so. But that's what we're going to talk about today. So before I joined you today, I was actually just brushing my teeth. And I brought out my toothpaste and my toothbrush. This is my toothbrush right now because I'm actually not at home. I'm away. So I have my little travel toothbrush. Look how cool this thing is. Pretty handy, right? So I love brushing my teeth. I actually do it a lot. I don't do it twice a day. I do it like a way more than that. I also love flossing. Love using Listerine and mouthwash. And I love it because I want healthy gums and healthy teeth. So I've learned to love brushing my teeth and flossing and all of that because I want to take care of myself. So how are some ways that you take care of yourself? What are some things you can do? Some things I can think of are eating some good foods, some fruits and vegetables, exercising, maybe even doing things that you enjoy, like reading, being outdoors, listening to music. All those things I feel are ways that you can take care of yourself because you're doing things that make you feel good, to keep you happy and to keep you healthy. So in church we talk about loving others a lot. But if you think about it, it's really hard to love others if you don't love yourself first or in addition. So when we care for our own needs, we are ready to care for other people as well. So today we're going to learn a little bit and talk a little bit more about how we need to love ourselves in order to love others. So we're going to hear a story today about some commandments. Now, the way to best follow these commandments is by remembering that we are wonderful, we are loved, and we are super important. We're important to God, we're important to others around us, and we should be important to ourselves. Okay? So we're going to sing a song, and it is called I Have Love to Share. And it's a really pretty song. And after that, Ginger is going to have some prayer, and we're going to hear more about that story. See you in a bit.
Well, hi there. Thanks for bringing us together again, Leah. Now, as always, we're going to open with our prayer. But before I do that, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what we're talking about today, and that is caring for ourselves. We talk a lot about compassion, and we think about compassion for other people, and we forget that we often have to have compassion for ourselves because we make mistakes, we do things we're not proud of, and we can really beat ourselves up. We also spend a lot of time taking care of other people. As a mom, I do that a lot. I take care of my kids and I forget about myself. So when I forget about myself, I can get sort of disoriented, I guess, and maybe a little bit grumpy. And then I'm not very good at taking care of other people. So one of the things we need to do with compassion is take care of ourselves so that we can help others too. So we're going to talk a lot about that today, okay? So remember, in your packet you have your prayers. This is how I colored the prayer this day. As you can see, it's totally different from the days before. Different colors, different style. And I want you to remember however you color it is just fine, because part of compassion, as we said, is knowing that there's more than one way to do something. There's more than one solution, and it depends on who we're with and what they need. So please pray this prayer with me, okay? Gentle One, thank you for your Spirit within us, who guides, encourages, and strengthens us. Help us see ourselves through your eyes with love, kindness, and deep joy. May we love our bodies, treasure our hearts, and celebrate our spirits. Amen. So this story is told a few different times in the Bible. We're kind of talking about how it was told in Mark 12. And then Jesus talks a little bit about Deuteronomy 6, which is the greatest commandments. So here's how it goes. Jesus and the disciples spent a lot of time in Jerusalem. One day, he was at the temple, a place where people gathered to worship God, and he was teaching and telling stories. A lot of people listened eagerly, but many had questions. The temple leaders and elders were unsure and asked him, "Who gave you the power to do and say these things?" Some were jealous and wanted to trick him. So they asked, "Should the people pay taxes?" Others were worried and asked him, "What happens in the resurrection and the afterlife?" Then one temple leader was curious about Jesus. He saw that Jesus was wise and kind. He asked him, "Which one of God's laws or commandments is the most important?" And Jesus answered, "The first is what we all know. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love your Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul or your spirit, and with all your mind, and with all your strength." And before the temple leader could ask more, Jesus went on, "The second is love your neighbor as yourself." These two are the most important of God's laws. So I think about love your neighbor as yourself. What I love about that commandment is it doesn't just say to love your neighbor, it says to love yourself too. So think about that as we talk about these stories today. I'll see you in a bit. So today we're still talking about being kind to ourselves and having compassion for ourselves. One of the things I've noticed is that it's sometimes really hard to be kind to ourselves. When someone says, "What are your best qualities?" it's often really hard to think about. So what we're going to do is we're going to enlist our families and we're going to help them by writing kind things about them. And then we're going to ask them to write kind things about us. So let me tell you how we're going to do it. We're going to make these really cool paper chains. They're going to be like paper chains of love. And here's how they're going to help us have compassion for ourselves. When it's hard for us to see something good in ourselves, we're going to open up one of those paper links and we're going to read the good things about ourselves, the things that other people say. Okay? So what I wanted to tell you is if you have colored paper, you can use all one color. You can use different colors. That's what I've done. You could use white paper that you color. So it doesn't have to be anything special, but the goal is to make a set of links for each person. So maybe make it your goal that every family member has at least 10 links, 10 nice things. So that when they're not having such a great day and they can't remember some of the best things about themselves and they're finding it really hard to have compassion for themselves, they can open one of these links and it will tell them about themselves. All the good things that they are and can be. So, if you have colored paper, you can take your colors and you can stack them. Now, your strips don't have to be too big, but you do want them big enough that you can actually write something on there. So, I'm just going to take these, I'm going to cut them, boom, like that. See? And now you have a few strips, right? And so we're going to take one of these strips. And really easy. We don't need glue. We could use glue if you got it. But if you got tape, that'll work too. A little less messy. Now, before you link it on here, remember you're going to write something kind about the person whose chain it is. So some ideas are, you give great hugs. I love the way you read me stories at night. Some of the things you love and value about the people in your life. Maybe it's your brother or sister. Maybe you love to play with them. I love that you spend time with me. Things that help them remember what a good person they are. And then you just loop it through your chain and you make a link like that with a little piece of tape, just a little one. And there, you have another link. So what I love about this is something I've done for a long time for people's birthdays, for Mother's Day, for Father's Day, for anniversaries. It's ways to really celebrate people. My boys did it for me for Mother's Day. And this is one of the links that they made. It says, probably can't see it because it's small, but it says, "You're kind to everyone." That made me feel really good, and it made it easier for me to have compassion for myself. So take the time to make 10 links for all the people in your house, your caregivers, your parents, your brothers, your siblings, your sisters. Maybe you have a babysitter or a nanny who comes over. Maybe you want to make one for them, or your grandparents, or your best friend. Help other people have compassion for themselves too. All right, I'll see you in a bit.
Grab those mats and get ready to move. It's movement time. See you in a few. Let's begin by sitting on the floor, legs crossed. As we inhale, I want you to think, "I listen to myself." As we exhale, think, "with kindness." Let's take a deep breath in and out. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Slowly rise and stand in mountain pose. Arms straight and strong by your side, feet firmly planted on the ground. Reach your arms up to the sky, then back down as you bend into forward fold. Take a deep breath and raise your hands to your knees, head looking forward. We prepare and focus our eyes forward. Take a deep breath and put your hands back on the ground or your shins, back into forward fold. Roll your spine up slowly, raise your hands above your head, and lower your hips into chair pose. Sit as low as you can. We strengthen and stretch when we trust ourselves. Lower your arms to your side and stand back up into mountain pose. The more we trust ourselves, the stronger we grow. From mountain pose, jump both legs back or step one leg, then the other, into plank pose. Lower further to the ground. Straighten your arms and stretch your upper body. Head toward the sky into upward facing dog. We face the sun and welcome what this day holds for us. From upward facing dog, lower your upper body back to the ground and push your hips and legs up into downward facing dog. As you take your next breath, lower your knees to tabletop pose. From tabletop, we're going to move into cat-cow pose. As you breathe in, tuck your chin toward your chest and arch your back. When you breathe out, lift your head and push your tailbone up. We're going to repeat this 3 or 4 more times. In cat-cow pose, we need times to draw inward and times to stretch outward. Everything we feel is welcome. After finishing cat-cow, let's sit back on our heels. Roll your legs and feet out in front of you. Slowly bring your knees up and straighten your legs into boat pose. If you feel comfortable, you can take your hands off the ground and extend them in front of you next to your legs. Roll slowly back to fully lie down. As you breathe in, bring your knees into your chest and grip each foot. Right hand holding the outside of the right foot, left hand holding the outside of the left foot in happy baby pose. Try gently rocking side to side to see if you like that. Let's celebrate being God's child and loving ourselves. From happy baby, stretch our legs back up and roll to your side and move into seated cross-legged position, just like how we began. Reach your arms up to the sky and draw them into prayer form right by your heart. Let's end with a bow of our head and our hands as we share our yoga greeting. Namaste. Hi guys, welcome to Compassion in Action for Session 3. So I love this compassion in action because a lot of times we feel selfish if we pay attention to ourselves and what we want and what we need. And I love that this is just validation that it's okay. Not only is it okay, but it's important to do things for ourselves and pay attention to the things that we want. So when we're caring for ourselves, we're listening to our hearts, we're paying attention to what we need, and we're loving ourselves. We love our unique self, and we love the things that make us who we are. So that is how we show compassion for ourselves. And one way to do that is by doing something only because it brings you joy, not because it serves some other purpose. The only reason you do something is because it makes you happy. That's a way to have compassion for yourself. So it'll bring a smile to your face, warms your heart, makes you feel good, anything like that. So in your binder for Session 3 for the Compassion in Action, there's a whole list of different ideas of things that will bring you joy. Some ideas. Everyone's is going to be different. You do not need to do one from the list. This is just an idea list. The one I'm going to do is not on the list. And what I am going to do, something that brings me so much joy and then I don't get to do that often, is take pictures. I snap pictures with my phone a lot, but I'm in a beautiful setting right now and I'm going to take the time by myself to go explore, and I am going to take pictures. That's going to bring me joy. And I'm going to take care of myself and show compassion for the things that I love, and I'm going to go out and about and do what I really, 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 really want to do. So have fun, think of something awesome that's going to bring you joy, and let us know what it is.
Well, we did a lot today, right? We sang, we read stories, we moved, we made things together. So here are just some thoughts to leave with you. Now, don't forget that in your little packet, you've got these awesome cards called the Daily Examine. And you and your family can use these to talk about your day. You can use them. You see there's an open and a pray. You can use those maybe at dinner every night. You can talk about the stories today. As we're thinking about what we need, I love some of the questions today. So, what do you need? Right? What are some of the things in your life that you need? Now, everybody knows we need food and water and sunshine. Did you know that people need sunshine too? There's a vitamin called vitamin D, and we can't make it very good if we don't get out in the sun. So it's important to go outside a little bit every day. So there's those kinds of things, right? But we need shelter. We need love. We need connection. So when we talked about, the last time we talked about writing letters to people so that they felt that they were connected. So how do we find our connection to the community? Sometimes when I'm feeling bad, I realize I'm not very connected to people. So how do we get connected again to make ourselves feel good? And what does knowing what you need, how does knowing what you need help you love God and love others? That's a great question, right? It makes us think a little bit harder. So, what I love about compassion, like I said before, is it's about really caring for everyone, including ourselves. So let's say our prayer one more time, and then we're going to close up with that song, okay? Remember, here's your prayer. Gentle One, thank you for your Spirit within us, who guides, encourages, and strengthens us. Help us see ourselves through your eyes with love, kindness, and deep joy. May we love our bodies, treasure our hearts, and celebrate our spirits. Amen. Well, here comes that song. I'll see you next time. Bye. I have love to share with the whole wide world, and I start with loving myself. When I take good care of my heart and soul, I have love for everyone else. I love me so I can love you. God loves me so I can love you. I have love to share with the whole wide world, and I start with loving myself. When I take good care of my heart and soul, I have love for everyone else. I have love to share with the whole wide world, and I start so I can love you. When I take good care of my heart and soul, I have love so I can love you. I have love to share with the whole wide world, and I start so I can myself. When I take good care of my heart and soul, I have love so everyone else. I love me, and I start so I can love you. When I God loves me, so I can love you. I have love to share with the whole wide world, and I start so loving myself. When I take good care of my heart and soul, I have love for everyone else.